Pilu powder. Okay, pilu powder. Now, pilu powder comes from a bush, I believe, in Southeast Asia. And many of our people used to use it. I'll tell you what it reminds you of. It reminds you of a chew stick. It's like a bush, and what they do is they grind it down into like a powder, and then you use it. It really removes all the plaque. It works way better than toothpaste, but it's a powder. There's also something that they call, I have this, I use it a lot. It's called bentonite clay. B-E-N-O, I think, N-I-T-E. I may be spelling it a little wrong. It's a bentonite clay. And it's a clay, I believe it comes from different parts of the world where they have rich minerals. And like the Himalayas or whatever. And what that does is they use it as a facial mask to remove impurities. And it's also a good toothpaste. When you put it on your toothpaste, on your toothbrush, is a good powder to use to clean your teeth. In addition to charcoal powder, a lot of herbalists use charcoal powder mixed with golden seal powder. You can get both of those from the herb store. You just have to be real careful how you use it because charcoal could be a little messy, so don't take a whole lot. Charcoal cleans your teeth better than any toothpaste found to man. Okay, bentonite clay also has different properties too because bentonite clay strips your body from everything when you drink it. So using it as a tooth powder is fine, spit it out, but you can actually take a teaspoon to 50 pounds of weight of your body, mix that in some water, and drink bentonite clay, and it will strip all your body from everything. You can't even take vitamins within an hour period of drinking bentonite clay because it strips everything out of your body. So it's good if you're trying to do a cleanse, which a cleanse is good to do before Passover. You're trying to do a cleanse because the seasons is changing. And just like the seasons is changing, our body has to change too. We can't take our winter bodies into a summer, into a summer mind, or our winter bodies into the summer, because we won't make it. It'll be hard on us, And so I see. Let me just see. Got a message here. Let's see. 8 times. In times we have doesn't have anything. Okay, that's good. So but does it have baking soda? Does it have baking soda in it?
No.
Nope.
No baking soda? Oh man. So we must got the first Times of Maine Passover toothpaste. What are the ingredients in it? If you don't mind reading it for me. Anytime, could you read that?
Oh wait. Maisha, just say what is sodium bicarbonate? Is that baking soda?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, can't have that.
I recant.
So my point is this, is that a majority, and this is a bad example I'm setting right now. Please, y'all, don't teach and eat. Don't ever do that. Okay. So, majority of toothpaste, I'm telling you, I went through everything. It's going to either have baking soda in it, it's either going to have some type of alcohol in it, or it's going to have some type of preservative in it. What does this do? I mean, I'm telling y'all, for years I got frustrated when I would go into the store, even the health stores, and it would be hard to find some type of tooth cleaner, but it forced to find alternatives. And some of these alternatives are way cheaper than what they sell today. I mean, I'm telling you, oh my goodness, it's so cheap to get a little bag of charcoal and a little bag of golden seal. Golden seal is a disinfectant, and so a natural disinfectant. And so as the charcoal is cleaning your teeth, The golden seal is disinfecting your gums and, you know, helping to keep your mouth fresh and clean. And so you can make your own. Sometimes my family makes their own toothpaste. You know, I love it when, you know, Queen makes some deodorant or something. You know what I mean? That feels so good to wear something somebody else made, something that you made. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling behind that, knowing that you're not depending on the system and society to actually develop and survive. And so what I wear now is going to shock you. You want to know what I wear now as a deodorant? Give me 1 second. And don't do this either as a teacher. Don't get up from a teaching lesson to show anybody anything. This is not a good example either. But I want to do this. Give me 1 second.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Okay, I'm back now. That wasn't too long. All right. This is my deodorant. Can you see that? That's my deodorant.
Dude, no key limes no more.
Okay, key limes are way better. If I had the key limes, I would have grabbed one out of there for y'all. Key limes are more are better fruit actually because it's alkaline and it's a natural fruit. I'm not quite clear, but once I find out for sure, but I heard that lemon was a hybrid, not sure. But I know that lime is not. Lime, especially key limes. Key limes you'll also see on Dr. Sabi's list of alkaline foods as well. Key limes are excellent. So get key limes, all right? But lemon is good also. All you have to do, you cut the lemon open. You don't even got to use the whole lemon. I use like pieces at a time. You know, you cut the lemon and put it in a bag, you know, put it in the refrigerator, take the little piece that you cut off, put it underneath your underarms. It eliminates odor. It keeps you fresh. I'm not playing. Seriously, try it one weekend. You know, try it one weekend when you're safe in your own home. And when you're doing some move around, wash your clothes, whatever, try lemon. See if it works for you. And if it works, then try it throughout the week. It works for me. Okay, let's see. So getting back to things that we can and cannot eat, toothpaste, we got that covered with the Pilu powder, the bentonite clay, golden seal. Those are about the only solutions that I've seen out there that doesn't have either baking soda or alcohol or anything in it, okay? Let's get back to the scripture in Numbers, the 6th chapter, verse 3, because we were talking about alcohol some more, and a lot of people say, well, this feast is about bread. Why are you talking about alcohol? Why are you talking about ferments? This feast is about bread. So for those people, we're going to try to make this clear that this is not really called the Feast of Bread. This is called chag matzot. Matzah means unfermented food or beverage. Okay, this feast is not called the chag lechem. This is not the Feast of Bread. Okay, this is the Feast of Unfermentation, dealing with food and liquid. And make it clear, there is not one liquid besides water that I'm aware of that doesn't come from, that we consume, that doesn't come from a food. There's no such thing as a lemon juice tree. You know? You're not going to find an apple juice tree. You're not going to find an orange juice tree. You're not going to find a grape juice tree. Almost every liquid that we consume in our refrigerator today come from a solid food. Am I correct? And so if that food or something about it is wrong to eat, then it will automatically make the liquid that also comes from it wrong to eat, okay? Or wrong to drink or consume. All right, so what was the second word? What is the Hebrew word for ferment? We read this in Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 15. It was the second word that in English said leaven, but in Hebrew it said the word seyor, right? All right. The third word was the word kametz. That was the third word in Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 15, that used the word leaven. So can we go to that word real quick, Exodus, the 12th chapter? And if we could read the English where it says the last word, or the third word where it used the word leaven. If we could read that part real quick at Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 15. And then if we could get Shar, if you can go back to that third word in Hebrew that meant leaven, we're gonna talk about that third word. All right, so Coach Tamika, if you don't mind rereading that third part.
Okay. Start with for whosoever.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Okay, very good. So we're told not to eat leavened bread, but in Hebrew, it doesn't say leavened bread. It says the word, what is that word, Shar? What is it? Kametz. That's right. Or kometz. So kometz is what the Hebrew says. Kometz doesn't mean unleavened bread. Kometz is any food or beverage that has a ferment in it. So if it has seyor in it, I'm gonna give you an example. So right here, I got my yeast. Okay, I got the yeast right here. My can of yeast, this is my can of yeast. Right here, I have my bread, right, that has yeast in it. Can of yeast, bread. Product, byproduct. Product, byproduct. Now, if this is the yeast, and this is the bread with the yeast, the Hebrew for the yeast is the word seyor. Seyor. So the Hebrew for the word yeast is the word seyor. Now the Hebrew for the word that has the yeast in it, the bread, the byproduct, is the word kametz. Okay? So kametz is the byproduct. Whatever food or beverage has seyor in it, the yeast or the baking soda, or anything that creates the rising, the chemical change, that is called seyor. The actual product is seyor. Okay? This happens to be lemon juice, by the way. Excuse me. Okay. So this is the bread. So the bread that has the yeast in it, we would call that in Hebrew kametz. Because it's the byproduct. Okay? It's the byproduct. Okay? So now, this is my question for you. Any of y'all ever heard of tasty cake? Or is that just a Philadelphia thing?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a Philly thing?
No, we heard it.
All right, so y'all got, all right, good. Because I know Walmart got tasty cakes, but we ate them growing up. Walmart brought them back like it was a throwback pair of sneakers or something. So there you got tasty cakes at all the Walmarts, right? But growing up, y'all remember growing up with the cripplets? And all right, so we got the cake here. So this is gonna be our cake. This is our cake, all right? Now, what do we make our cake fluffy with?
Baking soda.
Baking soda, right? Good. So this is gonna be our baking soda. Baking soda cake. Which one is the seyor?
Baking soda.
Very good. Because it's the actual product, right?
Okay.
It's the thing that causes the rising, right? So in Hebrew, we would call that the seyor, right? Now, what would the cake be called in Hebrew?
Kametz.
That's right. Kamat, so kametz. Very good. That would be the cake. Why would it be kametz?
Because it has seyor in it.
Very good. Very good. Now, people may be thinking we crazy, y'all. They like, seyor, kametz. What are they talking about? It's leaven. You know, they're like, keep it simple. It says leaven. Well, if you're reading English, you're going to get English thought. How far can English thought take you? English thought gives you what? English understanding.
Okay.
I don't want that because I'm not English. I want the Hebrew thought because we're Hebrew.
Okay.
Okay? And so if I'm getting a Hebrew thought, then I'm getting a more cultural understanding of what the Most High commanded of us. And then I get more understanding because the Hebrew gives different words. It doesn't give all three of the same words for leaven, does it?
No.
So knowing that makes us knowledgeable. Knowing that puts us, man, believe me, man, I say about 95% of Israelites don't even have this information, man. And it's sad. And that's why, you know, we have to get it out there. Because we're coming from the Torah. We're not making nothing up. We ain't coming from no science book or no added other book. You know, we coming straight from the Torah. That's it. You know what I mean? We just bring in some increased understanding. That's it. Okay? And so with that being said, here's a harder question. Okay. So now, I have a cup of beer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all with me?
Yeah.
A cup of beer and I have a pretzel. A cup of beer and a pretzel.
Okay.
My pretzel, my cup of beer. Which one is seyor?
Neither one.
Neither.
Dang! I thought I was gonna get y'all on that one, man. Y'all did, good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Y'all trying to catch y'all slipping. All right, very good. All right, so I'll repeat that again, right? So we had the pretzel, we had a cup of beer. Now, what about that Passover person, right? The super Hebrew, right? That don't want to learn nothing, that want to stand in English, that says to you, brother or sister, this is called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I could drink wine and beer all I want. Why would we say to that person to consider something different? Why?
One is commits, or you cannot.
Absolutely. And so the liquid is kametz too, because it has seyor in it. Every beer that you could think of went through a fermentation process.
Okay.
Beer is fermented barley, fermented wheat. See? It's a liquid still coming from a food process. Now, check this out. Check this out. Let's go to number 6 and 3 now. It's time to understand why we really can't have liquids and how they apply to this feast. And then we're going to get right back into the Passover list of what we can and cannot have, because that's where that's really where I want to be right now. So we could talk about why we can't have cocoa, why we can't have lunch meat. I can't wait to get into that stuff. All right, so here we go. All right, number 6 chapter, verse 3, Babak was shot. Let's say we need an English reader and we need a Hebrew reader for this one. Let's get a different English reader and a different Hebrew reader.
You said 6 and 3?
Kane, let me pull it up just to make sure that's it.
That's it.
That's it? Okay, good. So number 6 and 3.
All right, you ready?
All right, so who's our Hebrew reader?
Mac.
I'll do it in Hebrew.
Mac could be in the building. Hey, where's Mike? Where's Mike at? Because Mike got the who has a baby on the way?
That's me, right here.
All right, congratulations, yo. Congratulations. All right. Hey, where's your queen at?
See over here in the back.
All right, congratulations, sister. All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's right. Sometimes we congratulate the men, but it's the woman doing all the hard work, right?
Game.
Hey, ladies, hey, sisters, I know y'all be cracking up, right? When y'all hear, like, after you have a baby and you hear somebody come to the brother and be like, hey, homie, congratulations, man, you did it. I know y'all gotta be sitting there like, huh? So, great job and congratulations. All right, so here we go. Numbers, Matt, we're gonna do our Hebrew. And our English is, you doing a Hebrew, the English? All right, don't confuse my brother is from the Roots. You know, always gotta put that out there. You know, he's not the drummer from the Roots. So that is my good brother right there, all right? Here we go.
All right, Numbers 6 and 3. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry.
All right, so I got a son, right? Actually, my first biological son's name is Nazir. All right. Nazir is the Hebrew word for what this chapter is about. This chapter is about consecration, consecrating yourself. And so Nazarite, remember, don't it say that in the first, the blessing of the Nazarite, does it say that in the first verse?
Second verse.
Second verse? Okay. So this is the law of the Nazarite. But in Hebrew, how you say Nazarite is Nazir or Nazarene. And so Nazir means what? Consecrated. Nazarite was somebody that was consecrated to the Creator. Okay? He was special to the Creator, had to separate himself for use of the Creator. You see? And so a Nazarite had to sustain from certain things if you took on this law, on this vow. And this was a vow. Some people were born into the vow. Can y'all think of one person that was born a Nazarite? He didn't take on a vow. He actually was born a Nazarite.
Samson.
That's right. Samson was born a Nazarite. That's why his hair, he grew his hair. You see what I'm saying? He had to sustain for certain things. He was born a Nazarite, you see? And which is slightly different from somebody that just takes on a Nazarite vow that says, hey, I want to take on this vow to get closer to the Creator, to commit myself a little bit more. People would take on vows. And it was a way of challenging themselves to do better and to uplift themselves, to be in a higher standard. Never make a vow you can't keep, which is important, but especially to the Creator or even to people. Never make it. It's better not to vow than to make one that you can't keep. However, vows were a sign of commitment. They were a sign of you really designed to do better and showing that through action. Because let me make this statement, and then we'll get back to Numbers 6 and 3, dealing with things that we can and cannot drink. Because it mentions the vinegar of wine, the vinegar of strong drink, right? All right, and it was something else. What else was it? The vinegar of wine, the vinegar of strong drink. What else did that verse mention?
Liquor of grapes, moist grapes, and dry.
Okay, so still fermented juice per se. Okay, and even lighter wine. Okay, yain. Okay, and talk also about strong drink. So let's get into the Hebrew real quick, and then I'm gonna touch on, get back to a point that had crossed my mind. I wanted to share with y'all about prayer. Okay, Mac, you ready for the Hebrew, bruh?
Okay.
All right, hallelujah.
Mayayim, is that the first word?
Miyayin, So what is that preposition there, Matt?
The mem is it from?
That's right, brother. That's right. I ain't gonna ask you that you got it. All right, so the me is from, because you got that word like one word in Hebrew, but it's actually a compound word because you got a preposition in front of it. This is a Hebrew lesson for the Hebrew people, okay? So you got a me in front of, what word is that in Hebrew though? What is that word?
Yayin.
Yayin. Wine. So if you ever hear the word, you want to say the word wine in Hebrew, you're going to say yain. Yain, wine. Okay, so mi yain means from wine or of wine, right? All right, time sheet, Matt.
Wash your car.
That's right. Washikir, which is, or washikar, which is strong drink, right? So it's saying from wine or strong drink, right? Time sheet.
Yazir.
Yazir talking about you shall not drink. Okay. What's the next word?
Comments.
Comate. You shall not drink comate. Oh, comate. Oh, hold on here. Hold on. So is that comate similar to the same word comate?
Okay.
Yes, it's the same root word. All right. So comate. Let's continue. Oh my goodness. So that comate we read before said leaven, right? Ain't that what they read in English? That word meant leaven, right?
Yeah.
So you can drink leaven. I would only assume so. If you can eat it, why can't you drink it, right? So let's continue on. So we got Yotzer, Komets, Yain, right? Time sheet.
Wa comments.
Wakomets.
Shakir again.
That's right. Shakir. That's right. And the leavening or of the vinegar. And what they do here is they translate komets as vinegar.
Yep, I just lost.
Vinegar is still a ferment. That even makes it more clear for somebody that says, hey, brother, in Hebrew, that word komets don't mean say anything that has sayur in it. You know, that would be wrong for them to say. That means they don't really know what they're talking about. Okay? Anything with sayur in it is komets. But let's say a person wants to say, oh, this is a different word, whatever. Okay, brother, look at the English. It's still telling you exactly that it's vinegar. Vinegar is what? It's a ferment, clearly. Okay? And is vinegar a solid or a liquid? It's a freaking liquid. Okay? And so the point here is that Passover is more than just about solids. It's also about liquids too. And so we just show how you have the same Hebrew word here, was telling you what our sister Tamika read earlier, remove all the leaven out of your house. Whoever eat it, that shall be cut off. That word was kametz. Well, guess what he's using here? It's telling you shall not drink this of that, kometz of strong drink, kometz of the vinegar of this, vinegar of that. So it lets you know that kometz could be not just a solid, but a what?
Liquid.
A liquid. And we ain't make this up. We ain't write this book. We didn't rewrite this Hebrew. We didn't say, hey, we want people to stay away from these things, so let's hurry up and write this in here. You know, this is our culture being returned to us. And, you know, all praise to Yah for even considering any of us to have our culture returned back to. You know, hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
One of the things I want to say about prayer is that prayer can sometimes be used as a scapegoat for people who don't want to change. So if you never want to change, all you got to keep saying is, hey, pray for me. That's all you gotta ever do. Tell somebody, if you don't want to change, you don't want to do nothing in life, you know, but you want to still kind of, quote, unquote, still a little spiritual, you know, or appear spiritual, tell people, pray for me. Pray for me. But what does that mean? Is it help that comes by? You know, like, how about this one? I'm going to pray for strength. You know, that's just as weak as this cop out. I'm going to pray that I don't wind up falling between some lady legs.
Oh, man.
Do you pray that that don't happen? Or do you make it not happen? You see, so it's the same concept in praying for strength. Why pray for it when you can go get it? Why pray for it when you can do what it takes to obtain it? But if you don't want to obtain it, and if you want to sound important, And if you want to sound like, make yourself feel a little good, then you say, I'm going to pray that this happens. All right. Now, mind you, this is fine if you mean it. Like, for people that say, pray for me, that really the person is going to do something to help them. Because that's really what that means. If you like, say for instance, you're hungry and somebody says, hey, I'm going to pray for you. Right? Yes, there's a high power. Yes, that power is also in us. Yes, that power is in everything we see. But that power has given us powers. And that power has given us abilities to do things. So the very thing that we pray that happens for somebody, we can actually help. It's just our way of saying, I really don't want to do it, but somebody else probably will. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's kind of really the reality sometimes, But for people that are sincere behind it, that follow it over action, then yes, it's meaningful. But for people that actually don't follow action, that really just use those terms as scapegoats, then shame on you. You know what I mean? And may the Most High give you courage to do better. And so I wanted to mention that because that reminds me of a lot of people that used to tell me, they say, hey, I'm praying for you, bruh. And I'm like, don't pray for me, bro. I needed $10 yesterday. You should give me $10. No, don't pray I get it. You got 50, give me 10. That's praying for me. That's making something happen, and helping out. And so true prayer is always followed up with action. And it reminds me, the New Testament talks about faith versus deeds, or faith versus works. And so we know faith is lip, is talk, kind of. But whereas deeds are more so your actions. And that's why scripture says asotam. When the Most High gave us the law, he said in Hebrew, he said asotam. Asotam means to do them. He didn't give us the law just to say or just to repeat. He gave it for it to be an action taking place with the knowledge and with the instruction he gave us. All right, so going to the list now. Does anybody have the list in their hand of things we can and cannot eat?
Oh, if it's in the group chat, I can go to it. I just think it's in the group.
I'm going to see if I can pull it up myself.
I'm going to it now.
Okay.
I have it up.
All right, we pull it up.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, look, let me say this real quick. All praise to Yah, of course. The sun is down on my end, so I can say, I could like on a Shabbat, I really don't like to thank too many people or this and that, because I like to just solely concentrate on the Creator and giving Him thanks and praise on a Shabbat. That's why I really don't even like people that do birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. If it fall on a Shabbat, I try not to focus on it too much until after the Shabbat, because Shabbat is really about the Creator. But on my end is down, so I can mention that I'm really proud of you all. You know what I mean, and where y'all come from. You know what I mean, because I just ran into a lot of y'all a few months ago, and y'all didn't know too much Hebrew then, right? Well, no, I think Shar was getting through the basics and things of that nature. But now y'all reading Hebrew. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. You know what I mean? So I really want to say I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Besides Shar and Mac, anybody else been reading too? I'm not going to put you on the spot. I just want to see who else has been able to, study and put your consonants and vowels and things together. Anybody?
The sisters have too.
All right. Raise your hand, sister, so we can see y'all. All right.
One of
Okay.
them.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. And so I'm just really, really proud of y'all. Seriously, picking up the culture and learning so fast. And I'm also proud of y'all picking up this knowledge of our culture in terms of our feasts, because it takes some people years to get this, and y'all got it in a matter of a couple months. You know what I mean? So I'm really proud of y'all. I want to say that. Let's see. Let's move on now. Shar, you said you had a list open?
Kane.
Okay. Okay. So let's go through that list. Anybody that needs to, okay, hold on. I see a message real quick. What about neem? Okay, yeah. Neem is okay. Neem is okay as long as it doesn't have baking soda in it, sodium bicarbonate, as long as it doesn't have xanthan gum in it or any alcohol. Sometimes I think some neem has alcohol in it. It's really a natural product, though. It's a really good product, probably just not for Passover. But I love neem. It's an excellent product. All right. It reminds me of back in the day growing up in the streets of Philly. I actually grew up with the Roots, the actual rap group, the Roots. And I was in high school with the light-skinned brother that plays the piano for the Roots. He and I were, we had high school classes together, but Black Thought is actually my first cousin's best friend. And so growing up with Malik and Black Thought, Malik was actually the partner to Black Thought, who is the head leader of the Roots crew. And so what Malik used to walk through our neighborhood selling was chew sticks and oils, because that's what a lot of the Muslims that were growing up in the hood, in the urban cities, they were selling, they'd be walking street to street to street with like a big old bag of oils. They were touching everybody with them, saying, look, hey, smell this. And they would sell like chew sticks. And the chew sticks, when we were growing up, they had like flavors, like a peppermint chew stick, cherry chew stick. And you could probably get some of that stuff still today in the herb store. It was like a little stick you chew on, but it just like kind of keep your mouth fresh and it cleans your teeth. And so my point of mentioning that was that every time I think of Pilu and chew sticks, it reminds me of Malik from the Roots, because he used to sell that in my hood growing up. So that was a flashback memory. All right, so getting back to our list of things we can and cannot eat. If you don't have the list, we're going to get it to you. Let's see how we can get. I think everybody in this room is on the list, or is on the group list, right? The Academy, Learning Academy of Hebraic Thought. All right. So if we could get somebody to post the list up in that room again, and if we can get an email list up, that would be good too. A lot of us are going to be together in Texas anyway, and that's going to be good. So that's kind of why we want to go through this list. Let me tell you why. Y'all gonna laugh when I tell you this. Remember what I tell you I use as deodorant? Yeah. Lemon. Well, when I got done with the lemon, I didn't always put it in a bag. Back in the day when I first started using the lemon, after I use it, I would like just put it in the refrigerator and just leave it there on the shelf.
Oh, man.
And so, when my brother or somebody would come over, we always, tea was like a ritual, drinking some tea.
Put it in drinking folks. Don't say that. Don't say
Get some lemonade.
Hey, look, I was young during that time. I didn't know any better. So
Get some armpit man.
now, the funny part is, when my family comes over and they go in the refrigerator now, they'll eat no lemon.
Back over there making that armpit maid over there. I see it.
Nobody uses lemon, man. It's funny. Okay. There was another thought I wanted to connect with that. I kind of lost the train of thought. There's another thought I wanted to connect with that, but it'll come back to me. All right, but oh yeah, here it was. So one day we're keeping Passover, right? And we had given, of course, I ran like 2 congregations in the past, and we would have unity Passovers, and stuff. So we had people at one time that didn't attend the teaching classes. They actually didn't attend the teaching classes, neither did they get the lessons from anyone. They showed up for a Passover, and they had all kind of stuff you can't eat. All kind of stuff you get. You talk about cornbread. Oh man, I'm serious, man. So this is why it's really important, especially when you getting this stuff freshly learned, to make sure everybody kind of gets it. Particularly people that are cooking. I don't care if you really don't get it too much and you ain't cooking, because then you ain't got too much to worry about. But if you're one of the chefs and you don't know what ingredients to use or not use, I'm gonna carry that. You see? All right, so let's go through the list. Bam, here we go. Can we get one of the sisters to read the list?
Okay, resign.
Number 1, stick to fresh meat. No prepackaged meat, smoked meat.
Okay, so do me a favor, if you can mute your lines so we can hear the sister. So no, what she was reading was, my family, let you read it again, sister. Start all over, please.
Stick to fresh meats. No prepackaged meats, sliced, smoked, no smoked meats.
Okay, no smoked meat. Smoked meats are a majority of them are fermented. I don't know if we got to this yet, so I may be skipping ahead, but it's still relevant. So stay away from smoked meats. We eat a lot of smoked meats. Actually, if you go and you do your research on smoked foods, they're some of the worst foods to eat. We're taught that they're some of the best foods to eat. It's not. Let me tell you why. What are one of the chemicals that come from smoke?
Carbon monoxide.
That's right. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, right? Come from smoke, right? Is that good for you or is that poison?
Poison.
That's poison. So if I'm filling my food up, then I'm going to interject with poison fumes. And then somebody told me it's called smoke flavor. Who's the fool? You feel what I'm saying? Okay, so a lot of our people smoked foods back in the day for survival because when we cold weather, you wanted to preserve meats to eat in cold weather. There were means by which we smoked foods, and that's fine for survival. But as a delicatessen and as a food item today, and we're not eating to survive, you want to stay away from just smoked foods in general because they're filled with poison. However, particularly Passover, you want to stay away from it because a lot of times they actually ferment smoked foods. You smoke chicken bones, your turkey butts, some of the worst food products that we actually were given as slaves are what they actually smoke today. Why? Because you want to flavor up those parts of the animal that are not really desirable. You see? It's like this saying I saw on Facebook. It said, you should eat some makeup so you can look pretty inside. I thought that was a nice quote for people that really have bad characters. You know how makeup beautifies your outside, but so many people have ugly insides. So the saying was probably eat some makeup. But going back to smoked foods, it's poison, kind of stay away from that. What's next on our list, sister?
Fresh vegetables. Stay away from canned. If using frozen vegetables, check the date.
Very good. So we want to, frozen is fine, but we want to do fresh because Passover is about newness. is about really, remember, it's about season. The season change, is newness. Really, we would be in our land picking our own crops, and we would really feel the essence of this feast because we will experience eating of our own hand. And so I definitely big up a lot of people that have their own land. Even my brothers and sisters. I think one of the sisters was just recently got a lot of land, and you're thinking about cultivating it to get some farms and produce going on. Very important because we have to feed ourselves. If you don't feed yourself, you really don't control yourself. You don't have your freedom unless you clothe and feed yourself. And so a lot of us leave those abilities in the hands of our captors. All right, thank you, sister, for reading those first two things. So we want to stay away from canned foods unless it's for emergency purposes. We want to stay more focused on fresh vegetables and fruit. A lot of canned stuff have preservatives in them. Again, preservatives is always, in most cases, linked back to ferments and things that are chemically fermented. All right, Tom Shikab Bakusha, continue.
Fresh spices and herbs. Stay away from bottled or sealed packaged herbs and spices.
Very good. So we want to, the reality is this. You know how we just so used to, if you want some garlic in your food, it's easy to do this, right? It's done, right? But during Passover, we want to go we want to stay a little bit more holistic. So if you want garlic flavor, what do?
Throw garlic in there.
Put fresh garlic on it. You know, a lot of powdered garlic is preserved somehow. I don't know how. I haven't really done too much of the research on too many preserved canned products to know how they preserve it, but it's preserved somehow. I don't know whether it's fermented when it's dried out or dehydrated or what, but we want to stay more closely with fresh herbs and fresh spices during that time. Those things have many minerals and vitamins that we need anyway. When you're using powder stuff, the nutrients are all gone. They're gone out of it. You know, so we want to focus on those fresh things so we can get the nutrient, the minerals, the nutrition out of having holistic and fresh things. Okay, any questions so far on those things we mentioned already? Yes.
So we have to get rid of all of our spices.
Those that are fermented, I would say if you can prove it's fermented, yes.
Okay.
If you can't prove it's fermented, then that choice is still up to you. You know, a lot of people could sometimes feel like if I don't know, I'd rather do without. And then some people would say, if I don't know, I'd rather just do until I find out I can't. So it would depend on, you know, your mentality as a person. But definitely, if you could prove that it's fermented somehow, stay away from it. I get rid of it personally. Just me, I'm saying personally now, because of the fact that if I see it there, I'm just going to utilize it. You know, and it's not going to force me to cut up some garlic, or you know, or ground some fresh pepper. You know what I mean? It's not going to inspire me, encourage me to do that. I'll just go ahead and just use to preserve dehydrated foods. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? All right, let's continue on with the list.
Okay, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, salts. Use either Bragg's amino acid salt substitute or pure unadulterated sea salt.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to add to that list, I'm going to say black salt is good and pink Himalayan salt. A lot of people tell you not to use salt, but salt is good. Your body needs salt to live. It's a mineral. When you cry, guess what comes down your eyes?
Salt water.
When you sweat, guess what comes out your pores? Salt in many of our Asian countries is used to cure many diseases. In many Eastern countries. But here in this Western world, they tell you to what? Stay away from it. That's because they're not using real salt. You see, they're using iodized chemicals. You see? So we don't want to use any of that kind of salt during Passover. We want to use either Himalayan salt or something that is a salt substitute called Bragg's amino acid. I love Bragg's. Bragg's is a liquid, so it's somewhat challenging because mentally, when y'all think of salt, y'all used to shaking it, right? Like it's a solid, right? So imagine using salt as a liquid. So you know how you may have whatever food you have, and you used to just shake the salt. Well, me, I pour mine, you know. So it's kind of psychologically challenging, especially with all your life people used to shake the salt, okay? But it's healthier for you. You can get it in health stores and a lot of other markets. It's called Bragg's amino acids. It's not fermented and it has no alcohol in it, okay? And it even says that on the product itself. Okay, let's continue on with the list.
Number 5, soaps and toothpaste. Use soap
Okay.
with pure, simple ingredients such as Kiss My Face, pure olive oil soap. Stay away from toothpaste that has alcohol or xanthan gum or any other alcohol byproducts as ingredients.
Okay, very good. And so, you know how people say, oh, we're only supposed to get rid of yeast and things of that nature that we eat that is inside of our food, right? But that don't make sense. How does it look, right? You get rid of the yeast out of your bread that you cook with, but leave it in your toothpaste and you brush your teeth with it every day. Well, what sense does it make? You get rid of the yeast out your kitchen, but then your soaps and stuff, you washing up with daily, getting in your mouth, your pores and all of that stuff. But you're saying, oh, I ain't really consuming it like food, you know. So it depends on how you want to go with this. I go as far as if any of my soaps or hair products, any of that stuff has alcohol or ferments in them, I don't use them. Okay, particularly my soaps, because now that stuff is getting into my pores. There are, Kiss My Face has a good soap. Kiss My Face has an all pure olive oil soap. You can get that at a lot of herb stores. And there are a lot of other soaps, y'all, that even some of us can make. You know, people make soaps. My brother, I got a brother and a sister that have a soap company called Herbs of Eden. And I'm going to talk to them and see if they even make a soap. It's a Hebrew-like company. It's a young couple that run the company out of Atlanta, and a real good young brother of mine and his wife. And they make a lot of, their company is really good. It's called Producing for Self. And this is what we need. And hopefully I will talk to them about maybe having a Passover soap that we can use where we don't have to worry about, you know, chemicals that we can't have in it, okay? But you just look real good at your soaps. A person don't have to go as deep as I do. You know, if you don't want to get into your shampoos and stuff, you don't have to. But I'm gonna tell you what it taught me. What it taught me was to start thinking, okay, if I'm watching my soaps and shampoos for Passover, because it has harmful stuff in it, then why am I using this throughout the year? And so that's what I start challenging myself to think, because Passover jumpstarts you for the year to come, because this is the new year. And as the new year approaches and, you know, you're in Passover, you're in a new year, you know, your body's looking for something new. It's looking to receive a break, a fresh start. And so, you know, what better way than to even free our minds from how we generally treated ourselves. Passover sets that standard. It sets that model for you of how you should eat, really. Even though we do it just for the feast, it ain't about doing it just for the feast. It's about the feast showing you how you should eat. You know? So you get rid of all this stuff out your house for Passover and for the feast. And you're like, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that. Well, in reality, you're getting rid of bad stuff that you would normally be consuming throughout the year. You know? And it's funny because after we do 7 days of the feast, where we're eating really good, guess what we can't wait to do? We can't wait to go grab that cheesesteak. We can't wait to go grab that hoagie. You know what I mean? That Subway. You know, in fact, y'all, when I was growing up, we had something called breaking our Passover, where you actually ate leather at the Passover. You see, so as I got older, I realized that that's not what it was about. It's really about, I'm sorry for making myself laugh, y'all, I'm sorry. It's about using Passover as a model to live your life, to jumpstart how you should really be living and eating. And that's the beauty of the Creator and these laws He gave us. They're really for our benefit and for our lives. All right, any questions before we continue on? Any questions or statements before we continue on?
Good.
All right, let's keep it going, sis.
Vitamins. Please use common sense with this issue because most vitamins are alcohol abstracted or have yeast as an additive. Please refrain from use unless your health absolutely depends on them. Try to naturally substitute vitamins with natural healthy foods. Consult your physician before attempting this.
Very good, very good. So just for sake of time, we're going to keep it going unless we have some questions or I want to emphasize on something.
Beverages. Only use fresh squeezed juices. Stay away from most vitamins, fortified products, even in soy milk. Things to avoid this holy season: yeast, baking soda, alcohol, bacteria, molds, enzymes.
Hey, so do me a favor. Do me a favor. Back up to things to avoid and read that list a little slower for me.
Yeast, baking soda, alcohol, bacteria, molds, enzymes.
All right, stop right there. So a person may even say, oh man, we talking about Passover. We have something that they call, you ever heard of Passover cleaning?
Yeah.
I remember this when I was a kid. Let me tell y'all. Some of the worst times ever. Listen, we were some dirty kids. I had like 12 brothers and sisters, y'all. We were really, how can I put it, disorganized. I put it that way. And so when Passover came around, we hated it. We hated the Passover cleaning aspect. My Imai, she would make us empty our drawers out. We would have to take all the blinds off the window and put them in a tub to clean them. I mean, we had to do the woodworks, wash woodworks, upstairs, down. I mean, we cleaned the house from top to bottom, places that we never even played or been at, you know? And so it was really, really challenging experiencing that, but it was good for me when I think back now because we got rid of bacteria and molds. Well, bacteria and molds are also linked to ferments and yeast, dealing with the word that has to deal with something that left over. Sayor. The root word for the word sayor is sha'ar. Sha'ar means something that is residue, something that is left over, like a mold, a preservative, a bacteria. Those are the residue of of living organisms. And so sometimes these things can be dangerous, okay? Like we don't eat mushrooms, right? A lot of people avoid mushrooms because it's not a food and a bacteria, right? Some people even don't even know that the mildews in our homes, they release poisons. You know, look it up when you get a chance. Look up black mold, look up mildew. And what you'll find is they release poisons into the air that actually cause us to have a lot of health issues. And so during Passover, it is a beautiful thing to do Passover cleaning to rid those things from our homes. All right, Tom Sheik, sister, and I'll do my best not to cut you off.
Fermented juices, wines, beer, lactic acid, acetic acid, vinegar, pickles, majority of olives, any pickled vegetable or fruit, most teas, cocoa or cocoa products, chocolate. Man, vanilla.
All right, let me stop you right there for a second. So the deal with cocoa is that most chocolate comes from the cocoa plant, but you're not eating it straight from the cocoa plant. What you're eating is processed chocolate. You know, you're eating chocolate that has gone through the bean. A lot of the beans have been fermented. That's why a lot of people avoid vanilla bean, because vanilla beans are fermented beans. A lot of teas are fermented. Like I'm gonna tell you, back in the day when I used to smoke weed, right? And I could be honest, right? We used to roll the weed up with tobacco. You know, whether it was backwoods, that used to be my favorite. Whether it was blunt game or whatever tobacco product you could think of, right? This is the research I did for Passover, right? I found out that all those leaves, okay, this is gonna hurt your feelings for a lot of you that smoke. That means that what you're gonna have to do this year is you're gonna have to get more of the pure weed rather than tobacco. All right. So, and I ain't promoting weed, okay? However, I do want you to know about the tobacco part. The stuff that you're rolling in are fermented leaves. Look it up. Almost every leaf you smoke is fermented. That is how they actually keep it soft and it doesn't dry out in the package. They hang the leaves to ferment, through a ferment process. And then once it's fermented, now it's soft, is fillable. You know what I mean? And so just wanted to give you the heads up on that, not saying that any of us do that, right? All right. So moving on to things that can I have? I just thought I'd mention that in terms of teas, in terms of cocoa, stuff like that. Okay, Tom Sheik.
Tabasco. Yogurt. Lactate, ethanol or ethanol. Dampened gum, cheese, sauerkraut, dried fruits, malted foods, cider products, most B complex vitamins, processed delicatess foods like sausages, bologna, frankfurts, corned beef, malt products, soft drinks, citric acid made with aspergillus fermentation process, cholesterol lowering enzymes, miso, SMG, tempeh, natto, bacteria, sourdough to alcohol. Stay away from processed vegetarian foods. Things to eat during holy
Yeah, especially with processed vegetarian foods. I'm a 99.7% vegetarian or vegan. You know, whenever I'm not snacking on some lamb or anything like that, I'm a vegan. But a lot of the processed foods, I used to thought I was safe for Passover. So everybody that was eating their regular stuff, I was like, oh, I ain't got that to worry about. I'm eating fake meat, right? And so I come to find out when I would start doing research of the ingredients, almost every packaged or processed vegetarian product, from the veggie lunch meat to the veggie sausage to the veggie this, that, and the third, all had ferments in it. If it had lactic acid in it, you know, it had yeast in it, you know, and I was like, wow, like, what's going on? But that's how they preserve the product, you know? And so you have to avoid that during Passover for you vegans and vegetarians. Watch the processed foods. They're high in sodium anyway. So, you know, watch that stuff. Tom Chika.
things to eat during holy season: fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meats, natural seasonings that have not been processed, raw sugar,
Mm-hmm.
almond milk without any additives or fortification, deodorant made with just mineral and salt water, natural soaps with simple natural ingredients, no xanthan gum, baking soda, or alcohol, toothpaste made with simple natural ingredients, no xanthan gum, baking soda, or alcohol. Stick to natural foods and beverages that are not preserved. Eat freshly prepared foods and freshly squeezed beverages. This holy season should be one that's carefully kept in all reality. Eating with a yeast or fermented-free diet will increase one's health. In addition, eating all natural or holistically is the ideal and initial way that the Most High intended for mankind to eat and live.
All right, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Toda Koti for reading that. I really appreciate that. This I thank the Creator for the wisdom in this, because I learned this topic from one of my elders. And of course, all praise to Yah, but I definitely want to give reverence to who I learned from. And my elder was Zakin Elnathan from Behetsabah in Philadelphia, who's also part of the Philadelphia KOI extension of Israelites. He was one of the pioneer Israelite researchers in a lot of material and short books. And somebody I looked up to because I felt like he didn't just say he loved the Creator. He showed it from pen, effort, and research. He didn't just, he wasn't just satisfied with reading somebody else's book. He inspired me to write, you know, and so in turn, that's what I inspire other people to do. You know, I inspire y'all to be writers, to be creators, to be business owners, to take the baton from your parents and create a new life and a new world for your children. You even be surprised how your parents depend on whatever actions you commit now. My father moved down North Carolina, Charlotte, with me, and I had no idea he would. You know, like I moved from Philly for a new life 5 years ago, and then like 8 months later, here's my Abba. You know, he's coming to live down here, and he's still down here, and he loved it. You know, Charlotte, the country life is the best thing in the world for him too. You know, changed his life. You know, so you'd be surprised how whatever move you make and taking that baton can even be something that your family's relying on, you know, a good decision that you make. And so with that being said, I thank the Creator for my elder and for his life and for his education. And I thank the Creator for putting him in my life to learn from. And so I want to inspire you all to be creators. You know how it says that we were made in the image of the Creator? we were made in the image of power. So if you're made in that image, that means you should be able to be a creator. You know, you should be able to develop something. I want to inspire y'all, everybody, to be a business owner this year. We got a new year coming up, a new season. I want to inspire everybody to be a business owner. I don't care what it is. Even if you gotta invest $10 in a stock and now you're part owner in that. You know, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your child. You know, I want to encourage us all this year. If you haven't thought of something to start creating and making, start thinking of it. What are your strengths? What do you love? What puts a smile on your face? What makes you happy that the Creator gave you a gift? He gave you, everybody has a gift that the Creator gave us that puts a smile on our face when we see ourselves do it. I tell you, my gift is poetry. You know, I may look like a thug a little bit, right? But I'll tell you, I love poetry. And I love real poetry though. I don't like that like new style poetry where people try to emulate each other. Thou art as I go. You feel me in the wind. I'm not really with that more so than I am with real expression, you know, of a person's mind and life, you know, and their soul. You know what I mean? And where it doesn't sound like other people, you know, that definitely is original. But that's my strength, poetry. You know, you all have a gift, and you have to tap into that. Let's see. Anybody want to share their gift?
Hey, well, you know, I'm starting my towel business this year.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, yeah. Hey, with all them children I see in the background, and I know it's like twice as many more, there ain't no way y'all should have a daycare. I tell this to many organizations, I'm telling you, that have children, you know, a lot of them, but even just 5 or more. The reality is that having a child care center or daycare, you do a number of things for your community. Number one, you actually create where your children actually are being taught under your tutelage and guidance. Number two, you create jobs. You create employment. You see, with creating employment, you also create, different other avenues of businesses to venture out and do. So that's wonderful. Who's that said that? That was Mac or Mike?
Oh, Shaw.
Shar, all right, Shar. That's what I'm talking about. Shar got like 50 kids. You ought to be opening daycare.
Oh, man. How you gonna talk?
Anybody else a business that you plan on opening? Or an idea you have?
Yeah, no, this is I got two, like this year, most likely, if I can get stuff, I want to open up my own, like selling candles and stuff, like oils and things like that. So it's like a natural detoxant as opposed to like these wax candles that everybody has.
Oh man, I'll buy that from you any day, bro. I'm serious, bro. I'll buy that from you any day because I love to burn incense and candles, man. And I don't think the candles I have are real healthy. So
yeah, that's what we've been researching, and it's like a lot of the stuff is like really it's just like you just burning plastic in your house. At the end of it.
So I hope you come out with that company soon, brother, because my lungs are depending on. I want to be hella no poison candles, bro.
Dang.
All right. So anybody else that has strengths and ideas, develop those. Even our children, I'm telling you, like inspire them to be thinkers and builders, because they can be business owners now too. Don't think they can't. You see, so
my daughter already said she finna put what's the name? Girl Scout cookies out of business.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know.
She ready.
That's what I'm talking about. And I definitely put in the order for those. Anybody that needs help with making matzot, we're going to be sharing some recipes this week through our Facebook teaching group, and we're going to be sharing different other recipes. I thought I seen my Isha Zay on here. Zay has some good recipes for Passover, y'all. I'm telling you, she throws it down. You know, my queen throw it down, y'all. I'm telling you. And so they have some really good recipes that, you know, they share with each other and they share with other people, and they're really healthy, delicious, and we can make Passover interesting for our children. You know what I mean, for ourselves. Stay away from ketchup that you don't make yourself during Passover. They got Passover ketchup out there, but it still has vinegar in it. I don't understand that. It says kosher for Passover, but there's vinegar in it. Stay away from that. Stay away from a lot of products that you may see that say kosher for Passover, because a lot of times that's just politically, you know, them selling that stamp of approval for something that hasn't even been researched. You know, so watch that stuff. Any questions?
No.
I think this has been an extensive teaching and very necessary, talking about the things we can and cannot eat and preparing for our feast. And this is just more than just this life. This is a lifestyle that we are supposed to embark upon. A lifestyle change of eating so that we can be healthier, so that we can be you know, used by the Creator, so that we can be around longer for our children, so that we can be enjoy and embrace the blessings that are here. It reminds me of, I want to probably end with this statement and then I'll get questions. I read a statement from Louis Farrakhan today. And the statement said, that true heaven on earth is having happiness with your wife and your God, you know, or your wife and your Creator. You know, it's true heaven on earth, you know. And I mean, wow, that reminds me of that statement, right? Even though it's a westernized statement. Y'all have heard that statement says, happy wife, happy life.
Dang.
And although some people may disagree with that because it is a biased statement, I think happy couple, happy life, you know, happy family, happy life, you know. Although people may disagree with the happy wife, happy life, it holds a lot of weight, because when you're living with a happy woman, it feels like heaven. It feels like heaven, you know, where, you know, you have nothing but support, beauty, someone fighting with you, not against you. And so I guess this message is for both sisters and brothers, because women, it's amazing the power y'all have to create heaven in your house and heaven to your family. It weighs heavily, of course, on a man, but really more so, I think, sometimes on a woman. Because even though a man is supposed to be the provider, women are sometimes the keeper of homes, the educator in the home, you know, the nurturer in the home, you know. And so you can change the life of your ish by how you simply talk to him. You can change his life by how you support him. You can change his life by your love for the Creator exhibited in the household. Same thing for my brothers. We can change the whole makeup of our home by no longer putting our children first or our wives first, but putting the Most High first. We would see the whole dimension the whole diameter of our household change and get better. Children, you also play an important role too. You do. Y'all may think, okay, all we do is we run around, we play, we young, No, y'all play a very important role. How you respect your parent can do a lot with how your parents feel about themselves. Listening to your parents, when they say do this or do that, and you say, yes, I'm listening, that makes your parents feel so good. Now you just made your mom day. You just made your Abba day. Because they told you to do something and you did. Or you did it before they told you because you knew. So you came home from school one day and the room was clean. They're like, oh, wow, look, the room was clean and I ain't got to tell you. Now you made your parents feel so good. Don't you want to see the smile on your mommy face, your Ima face? Don't you want to see your Abby get rid of that frown and have a smile? So you children, y'all play just as much role too in the family development and building. Okay, y'all are our support, really. Sometimes the parents, we get so mad at each other, kids. We get mad at each other that we can't find happiness between mommy and daddy. So guess what we do? We look to y'all. Because just a smile, just y'all beautiful face, and just to watch y'all innocent and playing and being the beautiful selves you are inspires growth, inspires unity, you know, it gives the parents encouragement. We need it too, right? So it's a team effort all together as a family. And I hope that something I said to you all has been encouraging and inspiring. Most importantly, all praise to Yah. And I hope that what I said was somewhat useful, because it's nothing like having somebody say a bunch of nothing. All right. So with that being said, all praise to Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I owe you everything, yo. Torah, what I buy. Yeah. Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Akkad. I love you with my mind, body, and soul, cause that's my job. Yes. If I ain't praising your name, I'm diving in your word. Michael Phelps with the scriptures got me high as a bird. Chewing on the bread of life, set apart, unleavened. Trying to get first dibs on any seed I can in heaven. And when you bring your kingdom down to earth, I'm chilling with my brethren. Ain't gonna be no 1 through 6. Every day gonna be a 7. And right now, in this captivity, it's only you I reverence. Magnify your name daily. Abba, Yah, I need your presence. So I seek your face, code out for your grace. Mix my work with faith, and when I go about my day, please take the wheel and show me which one I should take. And I know that I'm not my own, and yes, I know that I was bought with a price. And I present myself as a living sacrifice. That's straight up. A Torah junkie, that's my makeup. My face up. Facing the east to the land where you gon' take us.